All right, so the next thing you get to do is read a very short excerpt from Plato's Republic. And you should put Plato's Republic on your bucket list of things to read at some point during your life because it's super interesting and it's readable. In it, our authoritarian friend Plato lays out his vision for an entire society and how it should be structured and who should have power and what kinds of things people should do and what the different sort of classes of people would be. And it's really interesting. So put that on your bucket list. But the excerpt you're going to read is one that we're not reading so much for content as we are to see an illustration of what what the Socratic method looks like when it's in action. So I just want to give you kind of a little setup because you're going to jump right into the scene here. It was very common in ancient Greece to have these things called drinking parties. If it was a really official drinking party, they would call it a symposium. And it's very formal, it's very structured, it's not a kegger or a tailgate party. Like these were very highly structured, very formal events where people had certain responsibility to make sure that nobody got too tanked and was behaving inappropriately at this party. The excerpt you're going to read takes place at someone's house. I can't remember if it's Seraphon. I can't remember whose house it takes place at. It takes place at somebody's house after a religious festival. Everybody gathers together and they do what they always do, which is start talking. And we have Socrates posing this question, well, what is justice? And what you're going to read is this back and forth between Socrates and this other guy named Thrasymachus. And so as you read this, you'll really want to make sure you read this aloud because supposedly this is the transcription of an argument or a dialogue back and forth between these two folks about what exactly justice is. Now, the reading, I think, is really interesting because you'll read a little bit of an excerpt and then you'll have the editor step in and say, here's what's happening. Did you see that? Now watch this next excerpt and see what happens. So read this piece aloud. It's not very long. It's not labeled who's saying what, so it doesn't say Socrates said this and Thrasymachus said this. So as you read it, just try to keep track like, oh, okay, the paragraph broke. That means that somebody else is speaking. Now Thrasymachus is speaking. It broke. Now Socrates is speaking. All right. So enjoy your reading of this discussion between Thrasymachus and Socrates.